Everyone, hi my babies, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. I'm Arachne and I'm very excited because we have a new Bellabeautebar release and it is the Yin Yang palette, a collab with Freya. Freya is so freaking cool. I love her aesthetic and she has the absolute best looks. I believe she's Chinese, and so she does a lot of collaborations with Chinese companies. Like I know I think she's done Cheery Up as well as Noracorn and probably some others, but I think those are the main two. So excited to see Asian beauty influencers in the Western indie community. And this palette, first of all, this might be like my favorite artwork. I myself am Asian. I am Korean, part Korean. So seeing the Asian influence, the yin yang, and seeing just an Asian creating with Bellabeautebar and these indie brands is so meaningful, and I just think she did a great job. Look at this palette. This is a beautiful, very Freya palette. Variety of grayscale cool tone colors. Some grays, we got some greens, and then we have these cool tone purplies and blues. And the only thing that I'm a little wary about in this palette is this right here is a split pan wet liner, I believe, so kind of similar to the Glistens Cosmetics one. And so I feel like you couldn't just spray into this because you're gonna get probably hard pan your other shades or get the other shades wet, so you probably have to take a little wet liner brush, spray it, and then dip into it. And wet liners are my go-to. I've just not been doing a lot of liner recently, but especially not wet liners. I just keep forgetting to pull for them, but it's kind of cool that it's in this palette, I guess. That's the only one that I would maybe change it out for just a regular shadow or another shimmer, but you can mix and match because these are all magnetic. And then I also love, if you can see, all the shades have the English translation and then the name or the shade name in Chinese, which is a really a freaking cool touch. I'm very excited to try this out. We're gonna get into that in a second. Also in this collection, Freya is also the queen of very cool grungy gothic lips, and so we have two new lippies from Bellabeautebar. So this is the Sparkle Veil Gloss in the shade Flux, and the packaging matches the palette. But I don't know if I think they have glosses already. I don't know if this is a new formula, but this is the shade Flux. And can you see, hang on, I want you able to see all these reflex in there. It's green and pink. I feel like it's mostly picking up green on camera, but there's purple, pink, yellow, green, rainbow reflex in here, and it is so pretty. And I love this container too. This lippy product, I think this is a new formula for Bellabeautebar, the Velvet Veil Lip Mud, and this is in the shade Undivided. And this is a beautiful beigey gray almost, or just gray, kind of a khaki gray. Kind of reminds me of the shade Daylily from Dive Rune, but I think that shade is way lighter than this. Very excited to see Bellabeautebar come out with a lip mud because I really like those formulas. Very cool shades. I'm glad to see that Freya brought more influence of the cool tone, grungy aspect to Bellabeautebar. I'm gonna go in with this shade Flux, this gloss, because I need to try this right now. And I have nothing on my lips and I need a little something. Off the bat, that is very comfortable. And this dofa has kind of a little indent right there, in the middle to pick up product and disperse it pretty easily. This is such a fun color. I'm definitely gonna be wearing this a lot. That is gorgeous. I don't know if you can see the reflex in it, but it is so pretty. Once again, here is the palette. I feel with this lip, I kind of want to play with this really unique grayish purple. It's almost it's almost like a denim gray. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really pretty. So I think I'm just gonna start with that. And I believe, okay, this font is slightly hard to read. I believe this says Taizu? Taizu? I think that's a T. I don't know if it's a T or an L. Lizu? Yeah, no, that's a T. Taizu? With this Morphe M332. And dip into that shade. Blend that into the crease. So far, blending really well. This is a true bruised eye type of shade, but also like ghoul. This is so pretty. I feel like Freya also has like a really cool like eyeshadow placements and like glitter placements, and she just like is not afraid to just like really go for it, and I just love her looks, and she always makes them look so good. So I'm gonna try to channel my inner Freya a little bit. This palette also even prettier in person. Like I saw it online and I was like, ooh, that's pretty. It looks like a lot of cool tones, but like up close, and I hope you can see like on camera that these are like all like very nuanced shades. Like it's not just like 50 shades of gray. It's a lot of like different tone, like cool tones that like I feel I don't have in my collection. I'm gonna try not to say like so many times. I use way too many filler words sometimes, and it is really annoying, especially trying to edit that out. Deepen up with this shade down here called Tempered. I'm gonna go in with this BK Beauty A504 brush and dip into that shade there. And we're gonna lightly feather this in. Ooh. It is definitely deep, but blends out really easily. Circling, smoking that in. Such a pretty dark gray. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this like white shade up here called Balance. It's like a slightly off white. Oh, it is mad. It is very powdery. I'm just gonna kind of go on the outsides here to blend that in a little more. My eyebrow hairs are making it look a little wonky on the sides, don't worry. No matter how much I pluck them, I just need to like start waxing them myself or something. Like, no matter how much I pluck them, they just always are there. Always waiting and watching. Go into the lower lash line here, into that shade Tempered that we used up here. And I'm using a M302, a Morphe 302 brush. Take the M332 again and go back into that shade Taisu? I need to look up the pronunciation. I know I'm probably like butchering it. Go in again with that Tempered shade, and I think I'm gonna mix in a little bit of the shade Earth down here. I want a really, yeah, like a dark smokiness under here. And then I'm also gonna take a Singe, this pencil brush, it's the Singe E11, and do the same thing and take it on this outer corner out here. Kind of smudge that in to deepen it up. Okay, so I also went in with my Melt black eyeliner in the waterline, top and bottom, and just to add some depth. I think I'm gonna take this shade Heaven, actually, this like gray blue right here. I'm gonna see if that's, I don't know how dark this is gonna be, but I'm gonna lay that on the center. Just that blank space on the lid. That is such a pretty shade. Oh, I actually do like it like all matte though. That's so pretty. There's literally so many sparkle choices. Like I could do a fun gray with a warm tone pop on there. This is the shade Chi. And look at that flip. That's so pretty. Could do that, or I could just stick with the cool tone vibe. Could do this shimmer Creatures on the inner corner or all over the lid. It's an iridescent green with like a purple pink shift. Oh, it's so glossy too. I believe my camera somehow cut off. I don't know what the last thing we saw was, but I went in with this shade Chi all over the lid, that fiery shade. And on the outside, we went in with the shade Chaos right here. And then I used this shade right here, Creatures, this insane iridescent green on the inner corner here. And I'm feathering in a little bit more of that like golden shade Chi. Tiny bit of that shade Chaos, that deeper shimmer on the lower lash line. Okay, I am back. I went ahead and added my Essence Lash Princess primer and mascara, the waterproof version, If you didn't see my last video, these are new to me, but I have been loving this so much. I have not put it down. I think it's become my favorite mascara, honestly, and I want to get the one that's in the burgundy shade and try out some of their other forms of Lash Princess. But I also added the Unearthly Lip Pencil and Villain, a black lip liner on the outsides, and added more of that Flux gloss in the middle, and hopefully you can see all those sparkles and how glossy it is. And this is the finished first look, and I had a lot of fun playing with like different shimmer tones with these different grays tones, and I'm excited to do some more looks. I think I want to play with these like neutral khaki browns tomorrow, and then maybe more, I don't know, we're just gonna experiment. And so far having a great time with this palette, and I'll bring you in for a little sparkle cam. Here is a little sparkle cam. That inner corner is so crazy, but this is the finished first look, and let's go ahead and get into look number 2. We're gonna get into look number 2, and I just realized that in the first look I also was wearing a different Misfits tank top. Clearly I love the Misfits, but so today we're going to continue playing with this. I think I'm going to play with some of these like more neutral khaki tone grays up here. I'm just really feeling a neutral eye, and I went ahead and used the shade Undivided, the Lip Mud from this collection, and it is really pretty. I feel like it's showing up a little more like khaki-ish, grayish on camera, but in person it kind of looks like a lot more cool tone than I thought it was going to be. Like, obviously this is a gray, but it kind of looks almost like more bluish gray in person. Go ahead, and I think I'm gonna start with this shade Ruins right here. I'm just gonna take it on this Wet n Wild fluffy brush I have. This is just like a brush I like to use to take like really light colors and just kind of dust them everywhere to start. And this is like a whisper of color, which I actually think this is a very pretty color. I don't know if it's like really picking up that much. I feel like it's just giving like a whisper of definition to my eye, which I don't mind. So we laid that nice little wash down, and now I'm gonna go into, with this bigger Singe fluffy crease brush, go into this shade right here called Rebel, this like kind of like mid-tone khaki gray. I'm going to kind of smoke this into the crease as well. And I feel like some of these shades have like a good amount of like kick up just because of like the nature of it being so like light and cool tone, but honestly it's nothing that you can't work with, and they blend out like a freaking dream, so really does not bother me, honestly. I'm gonna do the same on the other side, or actually, you know what, I think I'm actually gonna take a little bit of this shade Duality to kind of like mix above this area and like mix into that Ruins shade, because it is still like a very light taupey gray shade, but yeah, there we go. I want to give that a little more base to it, you know what I mean? I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Coexist as well, and kind of mix it with that shade Rubble. I'm saying rubble like on the ground, not rebel, by the way. I just realized I'm like pronouncing it kind of weird. Rubble, not rebel. And these are blending pretty effortlessly all together. But okay, I'm taking a little of the shade Earth mixed with that shade Coexist on a pencil brush, the Singe E11 onto, and just kind of putting that on my lower lash line to smoke it out. I feel like for the most part you can mix like any of these grays. They blend really well. I'm going in with my BK A504 brush, buffing the edges of where we laid that down out here. More of that shade Rubble, and use that to blend out and go into the crease up here, connecting it all. I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade Earth, that like deep grayish brown, and kind of also get on the outer lash line down here, because I love a smoky outer corner. as we know. Real quick, if you have oily hooded eyes like me and you have some shades, none of the shades in here are like overly emollient or like that really smooth texture that's gonna crease. But if you didn't know, like whatever shade is like super emollient, like this one, you can literally just take a paper towel, just press into the shade like gently with your fingers that you think is emollient, and it'll like, you'll see like the little grease spot like in a circle, and you can just keep patting until you get all that excess binder out, like just directly into the shade, and then it won't be as emollient and won't crease as much. So if you have any formulas that like crease on you and you didn't know that, try doing that, especially with your shimmers, and they should work a lot better. I'm not saying it's gonna fix it totally, but for me, I know Bellabeautebar sometimes has emollient shades like that, and I've done that in all my other palettes and then they don't crease. So if you need a little tip for that, that is my hack that I did not come up with, by the way. I don't remember who I learned it from, but it's a hack. Let's decide what shimmers we want to use today. I know I could be a boring bitch, and I like really just love like a plain like taupey bronze shimmer like that, like a cool tone bronze. So pretty. But I'm not gonna be boring today. I'm not gonna do that. I know you guys want to see the more crazy shimmers. I know you want me to test out these hollows, and I do too. So I would go in with this shade called Negentropy. This is like a hollow silver. That would look very stunning. And let me see if I can swatch that in the back of my hand. I don't know if you can even, it's not doing it justice. I swear it's like so insanely hollow. We could go in with this shade. This might not match, but we could do that shade Cosmology, which is a really deep blue hollow as well. We also have this shade down here called Darf, which is like a fun ultra metallic toned silver, but kind of almost has like some blue silver in it. I also have this shade down here, Solar and Lunar, which I honestly would probably like maybe mix it a little bit, and it makes that. Or I could just do the solar side. Solar side looks like that. Ooh, that might be pretty. Maybe we can mix a few, like do solar into like this Negentropy, like that silver. Maybe we can do that. Like, just do a fun little combo. Or I could even do, you could even do Chaos on the end again. I'm way too indecisive. Oh my god, please. We're gonna start with a tad bit of the shade Chaos just on the outer parts out here. Just to meet up with the darkest mattes out here. I'm just gonna go into the shades, the solar part right here, that like more orangey part. And we're just gonna lay this on the lid. Oh yeah, those two like blended together really well actually. I'm gonna take a little bit of that shade Negentropy. Okay, and then we're gonna blend that solar shade again with the silver hollow. I like that. And the solar is like a really like kind of like cool toned orangey hollow, so it's not like overtly like a crazy orange. Yeah, Freya did an excellent job of putting together not only a great color story, but really truly complementary shimmers, honestly. I think I'm honestly gonna take this shade Tea again right here, that like kind of fiery iridescent, and use this on an inner corner highlight, or as an inner corner highlight. I feel like it'll complement this really well. These iridescents are just like really bright. It's so... Is this my new fave Bellabeautebar palette? I think I'm gonna take a little bit, like tap a little bit of that same shade onto the brow bone, because I just love to do that with sparkly iridescent shades. Make it extra shimmery, especially in photos. I did mascara. I used the same combo, the Essence Primer as well as the Lash Princess Waterproof. And this is the second finished look, and I don't know, this might be my favorite yet. I really just like am feeling this vibe today. Let me turn the camera light up and bring you in. Here is what the second look is looking like. I feel like the camera's not even doing it justice. Do you see those hollows? It's so pretty. But yeah, this is the second look, and we're just gonna jump right into the third look because I can't put this palette down right now. So let's get to it. Hello, we are back to get right into look number 3 with this beautiful Yin and Yang palette from Bellabeautebar and Freya. I already have my eyes prepped. I am wearing the Flux gloss again with some Unearthly Black lip liner in the shade Villain, as well as the shade Cursed. I really love this lip gloss. It's super comfy. It doesn't feel like the slippery kind. It kind of reminds me of the Dye Rune lip glosses where it's like thick and it will stay. It feels a little thinner for sure. I like it a lot. It's very pretty. And we got the eyes prepped, and it's an overcast day outside. I'm feeling in my element. I'm feeling alive. I love a little rainy overcast. Love a rainy overcast day, so I think I really want to play with either this shade Cosmology or like this bright purpley, like these like bright purpley blue shades. To start, I think try this shade right here called Reflow, this like lighterish, mid-tone-ish gray. And I'm going to take this on a Singe EO6 brush. Let's lay this down first. Perfect. This is like a nice little transition-y mid-tone shade. I didn't want it to be like super dark because I want the kind of like blue tone grays to pop more in this look. But I think this is gonna serve as a really nice base. This palette really is just like 50 shades of different grays and cool tones, and I'm so here for it. And so far I've not had any issues with creasing. Like I said, yesterday I went for a 2-mile run with my full beat on and it did not budge at all. And the shimmers didn't even crease. And sometimes with hollow shades, they tend to crease a lot on me for whatever reason. Just the nature, I think, of how they're formulated, but didn't crease. And I wore it all day and then went for a run and it was perfectly fine. So very happy with that. No issues. So I'm having a very good time playing with these. I'm just gonna keep laying that shade down. Get a nice little grayish base going, of course. And I'm gonna go into the shade Heaven with this Singe crease brush. With this Singe crease brush. It's like the fluffier one. I always forget the name of it. I keep forgetting to put it in the description. I'm gonna try to tag it. But I'm just gonna go in, kind of pat that on, and also blend at the same time. Really focusing on these more blue grays today. On the other side. Do the same thing. Is building up really nice. This might be a new go-to cool tone palette, honestly. This and the Dye Rune Silver and Cold and the Blend Bunny Haunt Me palette might be like the best cool tone grungy palettes that I own. I'm gonna add a little bit of that shade Ruins right here, this one, that we used yesterday on the outer edges as well, just to lighten at the very tops of the outermost edges, not the top. Sorry, my brain is just like, I need to eat some lunch, I'm hungry, and my brain therefore is not functioning. In with my, just drop that, my BK Beauty A504 brush, and we're gonna go into this shade Tempered right here. I feel like it doesn't I'm not sure if it's translating on camera as much, but this is like a deeper like blue gray. I'm gonna use that to deepen out, or deepen up and smoke out these outer edges here. Deepen that blue shade that we put down a little bit. Okay, that is turning out well. Let's go ahead and go into the lower lash line. I am going to use a Morphe M302 and out with that shade Heaven, that like mid-tone gray blue that we used in the crease, and go on the bottom here. Just lay that down. I just love these shades of like blue gray. They're so pretty. I feel very undead and vampiric in them. I'm going to take this E11 Singe brush, this pencil brush, and go into that deep shade Tempered right here. I'm gonna lay that on the outer lash line down here, connecting it here and kind of build that up. All right, just blend with a little bit more of that shade Ruins on the outside as well. And I think we're pretty much ready for shimmer, honestly. I'm not doing anything crazy for the mattes. I did tightline. I am gonna take a little bit of the shade Earth mixed with Tempered again, and just kind of I just like a dark shade to like re-outline like right underneath where I waterline and kind of smoke. I just feel like it adds a nice pop of definition and depth. Okay, and I think I'm going to go in with this shade Cosmology right here. This beautiful blue hollow, like bluish purple hollow. And just go right in on the lid. That is so pretty. Do the same over here. And I think I'm also gonna take a little bit of this shade Lunar, that like purple side of this hollow, kind of add it as a pop on this outer V. I think I might take a little bit of this shade Light right here. That, oh, just dug my hand into this shade right here and I got it all over my hand. Ah, 1 second. Oh shit. Good news is, oh, my hair's sticking to my lip gloss. Didn't break anything, but I'll be right back. Okay, my goodness, we're good. Hands are clean, nothing in the palette broke. We're back. Okay, I did just like completely smush in that shade. I don't know if you can see, but this one's like squishier, so I can just pat it back. But anyways, I'm gonna take a little bit of this shade Light right here, that's silver, and kind of put that on the inner third of this lid. And I just think that adds a nice little brightness right there. Yeah, that is looking gorgeous. And I'm going to take my little crease brush and we're just gonna in there and make sure this is all blended in where the mattes and shimmers meet. I think I'm actually feeling kind of a matte inner corner today, so I think I'm gonna take this shade Balance and we're gonna just pack that on the inner corner for some nice light contrast. Kind of open the eye up a little bit more. To add mascara, and I think this is gonna complete the look for right now. Head and curled and add some mascara to my lashes. Same combo I've been using. And this is the finished look for the third look. I really love how it turned out. Let me bring you in for a little sparkle cam. If you can see, I just love those hollows. Okay. And I also like love that like that purple like meshes well. I thought it was gonna be like too bold of like a contrast with the grays, but it actually like really tempers down and combines with those other, combined with that blue shade really prettily, and all these shimmers kind of like blend really easily. So yeah, these have been my 3 looks. I am really enjoyed playing with this palette and I can't wait to continue to play with it. This becoming a pretty regularly used palette for me, for sure. I was interested to do a few comparisons of shades and mattes though, because I know, you know, consumerism is like not the best and I'm not going to promote like overconsumption of things. So if like I can try to show you like swatches or help you decide if like you have something similar in your collection or not, then I'll do that. I think it's helpful. And yeah, so I thought this reminded me of a few like palettes, not the whole thing. Usually like more like bits and pieces of this palette remind me of other palettes, but this is just like all in one. I also didn't use this wet liner and I probably would take this out and put it in like my wet liner palette and maybe swap this out with a different like gray or shade from other Bellabeautebar palettes or something like that. It's just not my preferred cup of tea, and that is okay. So for the most part, the most unique parts about this palette is probably shimmers. I think these 2 are the most unique. I have nothing like that in my collection. If you love hollows, there's 3 shimmer, or I guess 4 technically if you count Split Pan as like 2 shades, and you can make it your own shade as well if you mix them. I think these 2 shades, these iridescents, are like super unique as well. and don't really have like anything like those in my collection. But I will say this, okay, so like these two shades right here that are kind of like, or this one, and this like blue one down here kind of are just like more solid, like metallic-y shimmers, and they kind of remind me of ones in other palettes, and I don't think they're like super crazy special, but they're still beautiful. Like I love a super like shimmer metallic. Honestly, sometimes it gets like a lot to like want to use like special crazy shifty shades all the time, and sometimes a neutral just like basic shimmer is all I want. But I thought it'd be fun to do some comparisons, because I feel like some of these shades remind me a little bit of some other Bellabeautebar shades in other palettes that I have from them, and I just wanted to like swatch just for comparison's sake and to see how similar they are. So the first thing that like immediately struck me, this shade Chaos is, hang on, can you even, I want you to see the flips and stuff like that, but this shade Chaos is like kind of like black based multi-chrome or duochrome shimmer, and it reminds me of the shade from Dead Roses, this shade right here, Ew. Okay, so the shade Ew has more of like a pinky flip as opposed to the shade Chaos from the Freya palette. Kind of looks like it has more almost like a green shift, but I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it on my hand. This is the shade Ew, and this is the shade Chaos. I mean, they almost look like, almost like identical, honestly. And I wish there was a little more variance, because sometimes I feel like a couple shades in Bellabeautebar palettes can be a little like repetitive. This one I thought was also similar. I felt like a few shades from the Vamp palette remind me of some of these shades. So the first shade right here, this shade Darf, I believe that's, yeah, Darf. It's like this like flakier metallic blue shade, and it reminded me of the shade from the Vamp palette. Also, my Vamp palette is like a hot mess, so like don't mind her, she's been through war. It kind of reminded me of this shade right here, Claudia, but I think I can already tell that it's going to be pretty different. Yeah, like the Claudia shade is definitely a deeper blue with more purple in it, and the Darf shade is more of like a silvery blue, and it looks like it actually almost has like kind of like some green in it. So that's the shade Darf. This is the shade from the Vamp palette, Claudia. So there's definitely a good enough difference in those, which I'm happy about, because I was like, some of these look a little too similar, and if I'm gonna pay, you know, like $70 for a palette, I want it to be different enough, you know, and fill a gap in your collection. I also thought this shade, oh, I just threw my lip gloss. This shade Daylight Ring from Vamp reminded me of the shade Light in this palette, the Yin Yang palette. And they're both silvers. Okay, so let's see, the Yin Yang one is definitely like an ultra metallic, just plain silver, it looks like, while the Vamp one kind of has more of a blue tinge. It's like a deeper blue gray shimmer. So those are also pretty different, which good to know. I also feel like the mattes of the Vamp palette, I thought for a second were like similar, but honestly, like, or I guess the last row, like the grays, but not really. I feel like this gray and maybe the one in the bottom, like right, are kind of similar, but there's not really like a light blue, but I think these would go together beautifully, honestly. They would match really well. And okay, so the next thing I thought had maybe some similar colors is the Dead Roses palette. I think mostly what I was just looking at is this shade right here, Lost Love. Reminded me, like, you know, it's like a metallic, but like not as shifty, just kind of like bronzy shade. It reminded me of this shade Entropy in here, and I was curious to see how different they were in comparison. So this is the shade Entropy from the Yin Yang, and this is the shade First Love from Dead Roses, and you can see that there is definitely a difference. I think First Love, you might not be able to see on camera as well. This definitely has more over like a brownish, like rose gold base, whereas the Entropy is like a true cool toned kind of like gold bronze. So definitely different, but they are kind of like similar vibes. And if you're wanting, you know, to like not spend as much money, I would say if you have some of these in your collection, then like maybe you can wait. Like, I'm really hoping that Bellabeautebar releases some of these as singles, and I don't know if they will, But if they did, I would honestly say that you could probably get like a few of the holographic sparkles or like some of the shimmer singles, but it does serve a really good purpose. I think for one, it fills a gap in the Bellabeautebar like aesthetic and the palettes that they have. I think this is a great addition. It's like a nice grungy, cool tone gray, gothic inspired palette, and I love Freya. I love the inspiration, I love the artwork. Everything performs beautifully. Like, that being said, about maybe some repetitive shimmer shades or like similar shimmer shades, I think these are some of the best like gray performing eyeshadows, like mattes, that I've worked with. I just love Bellabeautebar's formula. I think their mattes are great. These performed honestly way better than I thought they would, because sometimes I'm like, ugh, about gray eyeshadow, because I feel like it can be finicky, it can be patchy, but all these shades you can mix and match. They combine very well, they blend very well, they're buttery, they're smooth, they're buildable, they're not patchy at all. So I had a really fun time playing with this, and at first, upon, you know, first looking at it when it was revealed, I was like, is this like, are these shades too similar? Like, I feel like sometimes on the online photos it looks, I don't know, like one note, one scale with the mattes, but in person they're absolutely like so different from each other. And I think this does fill a really cool, nice gap in my collection. I don't have as much like cool tone eyeshadows, but I'm starting to get way more into it. And yeah, I really have been enjoying this palette. I love this palette. I think the shimmers are also spectacular, nothing creased, everything lasted amazingly. Yeah, the only thing I didn't really like is like this little split pan liner, because I feel like it's hard to like spray into it without hard panning or other shadows. So it's like kind of like an interesting thing to put into like a matte eyeshadow palette, but I'm not mad at it. It's some people's cup of tea, it's just not mine, and that's totally okay. I'm still going to use this. I just might depot it into my other wet liners. The other thing I wanted to say is that these shades, due to them being probably like so cool toned and light based, they are quite powdery when you dip into them, like pretty powdery. But I would not, like, if you still like this palette, I wouldn't let that, it doesn't like, it's not something that like is gonna affect me and like turns me off from a palette. Like, all you gotta do is tap your brush or kind of like blow on the shade and like blow the extra fallout away. It wasn't fallout heavy on the eyes or when I was applying it to my face. If you're worried about it, I would maybe do your base makeup first, just to prevent anything from getting on your face. But other than that, I think everything performed amazing. I'm really happy for Freya. I'm so excited to see more like Asian beauty and Chinese beauty creators come into the Western indie space, because I adore like Korean and Chinese makeup so much. And I really want to try like some more sea beauty in the upcoming year, but I'm trying to be like on a low buy / save money, because the state of the world is not it right now. But yeah, I'm so excited for Freya, and I'm so excited to see a collab like this. I think this is absolutely fits her aesthetic so much, and I think her and Bellabeautebar did an amazing job putting together a really cohesive but versatile gray color story and cool tone color story without it being boring. So that is my thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. Let me know your favorite look. Let me know your thoughts on the palette, if you're gonna pick it up, if you have something similar, if you're gonna skip, if you're disappointed, if you're excited. Let me know, and let me know if you have like recent pickups or what you want to see next, or anything, or something that made you happy today. I don't know, anything, you can comment. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.